John lived deep in the forest, far from cities, noise, and people. He liked the quiet. He liked being alone. After what happened in his past, something he never talked about, this forest became his safe place. Every day he hunted, cooked, read old books, and fixed small things around his wooden cabin. He was not young, but he was strong and smart. The animals stayed away from him, and he stayed away from them unless he needed food. One morning, the sky was dark, even though it was only 10 a.m. Storm clouds were coming. John stepped outside and looked up. Rain's coming early, he muttered. He walked into the trees with a long stick and a bag of supplies. Today he wanted to check his traps. He had set two near the river and one deep in the woods. As he reached the first trap, he saw nothing. Empty. Second trap still untouched, but the third one, something was wrong. From a distance, he heard it. A soft whimper, not an animal sound, more like crying. John moved closer, quietly. What he saw made him stop completely. In his trap there was a figure, not a bear, not a fox, not anything he had ever seen before. It was small, maybe the size of a teenage girl, but her skin was silver blue and it glowed softly, even in the shadow of the trees. She had long white hair, and her eyes, large, dark, and full of fear, were staring right at him. The trap hadn't hurt her badly, but her leg was caught. She was shaking, breathing fast, and making small, strange noises, like she was speaking, but not in English. John stepped back slowly. Was it a costume? Some kid playing dress-up? No. Her skin looked too real, too smooth, too alive. He whispered, "What are you?" The girl's eyes widened. She tried to move, but the trap held her leg tight. She winced in pain. Then she said something in a broken, trembling voice. "Please, no, eat, me." John blinked. He hadn't expected her to speak at all, and now she was begging not to be eaten. "I'm not gonna eat you," he said, his voice calm but confused. She didn't understand. Or maybe she didn't believe him. She raised her hand, 3 fingers, glowing faintly, and covered her face like she was waiting to be hit. John slowly moved closer and knelt down beside the trap. "Listen," he said gently. "I'm not gonna hurt you." She didn't answer, but her breathing slowed just a little. Carefully, John opened the trap. The moment it clicked open, she pulled her leg back and scrambled away, hitting her back against a tree. She was still scared, but she wasn't running, not yet. He noticed something strange, no blood. Her skin had scratches, but the wounds were glowing and slowly closing. He said, almost to himself, "You're not from here, are you?" She looked at him again. This time her voice was clearer, but still full of fear. "No. Home. Broken. Ship full. Sky." John's eyes narrowed. "A ship you crashed?" She nodded, then looked up, as if afraid something was above them. John followed her gaze. The sky was dark now. Thunder rolled in the distance. "You're not alone, are you?" he asked. The girl didn't reply. John stood up slowly. "Come with me. I have a cabin. You'll be safe there." She shook her head, eyes wide again. "Trapman, eat me," he sighed, frustrated but calm. "I said I won't eat you." Then, without warning, something strange flashed in the sky. Behind them, a silent, bright light. Not lightning, not thunder. John turned around fast. The girl was already crawling toward him, eyes full of panic. "They find me," she whispered. "They come up." He looked at her, still not understanding the full truth. But one thing was clear. She was running from something worse than him. "Okay," he said, "let's go now." He reached out his hand. She looked at it for a second, then grabbed it. Together they ran through the trees as the rain started to fall. Behind them, far above the clouds, something unnatural followed. The trap wasn't meant for her, but she was caught anyway. And now, John was caught in something far bigger than he ever imagined. The cabin was small, old, and quiet. Rain hit the windows like soft fingers, knocking again and again. Inside, John sat in his wooden chair, staring at the strange girl sitting across from him. She was wrapped in a thick blanket. Her glowing skin made the room look unreal, like a dream that refused to end. Her wet hair stuck to her face. She looked cold, scared, and very tired. John had given her water, which she sniffed first before sipping slowly. He offered her food, but she pushed the plate away. "Not your meat," she said with a frightened face. John raised an eyebrow. "It's just soup. No meat, just beans and potatoes." She stared at the bowl, then back at him. "You trap means hunt. Hunt means eat." John sighed and leaned back. "The trap was for animals, not for whatever you are." She looked down. Her hands were shaking. Her voice was soft. "You think I'm animal?" "No," John said quickly. "I think you're lost, and not from Earth." She looked up slowly. Her eyes were large and full of something he couldn't name. "Sadness, loneliness, guilt. I fall from sky," she said. "Shipbreak. I run. You crashed?" he asked. She nodded. "Your air hard, cold. I breathe slow. Here." John stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the forest was dark. The storm was still growing. He could feel it in the walls. "You're an alien," he whispered. Saying it out loud made it real. "You're not from this planet." "I'm not enemy," she said quickly, like it mattered more than anything else. He turned back to her. "Then who is?" She paused. Her eyes flicked to the door. They come, hunters, not human, not like me. You're telling me there are more aliens, and they're looking for you. She didn't answer right away. Instead, she reached into her jacket and pulled out a small, glowing crystal. It floated just above her palm, turning slowly. This is life, she said. This is why they chase. John leaned forward. What is that piece of core? Ship core. It makes power. They want it. And me. John narrowed his eyes. Why you? Her voice became even softer. Because I am the only one who survived. He sat back, shocked. There were more of you. Yes, 10 on ship, only me out. And the hunters, they followed. Kill all. I run. John stood again. This was getting worse by the second. You're saying they're on Earth? She nodded. Not far. I feel them. They scan air. They smell my light. John rubbed his face. This was no accident. This was something big. Something dangerous. Something he had no idea how to handle. He looked at her again. She had curled up like a child in fear. But she wasn't a child. She wasn't even human. Still, she looked human enough. What's your name? He asked. She shook her head. You can't say it. Try me. She spoke a word that didn't sound like a word at all. More like a song or a hum or something underwater. John tried to repeat it and failed badly. She gave a small smile for the first time. You call me ZZ, he repeated. Okay, I'm John. She tilted her head. John is not enemy. He nodded. Neither is Z. They sat in silence for a moment. Outside, lightning flashed, then suddenly, the lights flickered. Z sat up straight. They closed. John grabbed his flashlight and his old hunting rifle. What do they want with you? Really? She didn't speak then. She stood slowly and whispered, if they take me, they don't stop with me. They take your world too. John felt cold inside. This wasn't just about one alien girl anymore. It was something much bigger. The rain was getting louder now. The air inside the cabin felt thin. Dotsie walked to the door and placed her hand on the wood. It glowed faintly where she touched it. They can't see through this, she said. For now. John locked the door tight. Then he looked at her again. You're staying here tonight at least. Z looked back, her eyes filled with something close to trust. But tomorrow, John added, we figure out what to do next. She gave a small nod. Outside, far in the forest, a strange clicking sound echoed through the trees, and in the sky above the storm, a dark shape was moving. The wind stopped. Not slowly, not gently, it just stopped. John felt at first like the world had paused. No leaves moved, no branches danced. The sound of rain vanished. The forest held its breath. Z's eyes opened wide. She whispered, there, here. John looked out the cabin window. Nothing, just darkness, but something in the air had changed. Heavy. Wrong. He grabbed his flashlight and rifle. Stay inside. Z shook her head. They smell me. They find me if close. You too. John opened the door slowly, stepping into the cold night. His boots crunched softly on the wet ground. The flashlight beam cut through the trees, but it didn't help much. Everything looked the same until it didn't. He saw something move. Fast, a blur between two trees. Not a man, not an animal. Something taller, smoother, not shaped right. He aimed the rifle. His hands were steady, but his heart wasn't. From behind, Z stepped out, glowing faintly. They use dark, they move with shadow. Why follow you all this way? John asked. Z looked at him. Because I took something they want, and they don't forgive. A low clicking sound started echoing through the trees. Slow at first, then faster, then more of them surrounding them. Click dash click dash click. John turned in every direction, but saw nothing. Light, Z said. John clicked the flashlight upward. The beam caught something high in the tres metal legs, smooth and jointed like a spider's butt, too long, hanging upside down. UNMOVING. Then it jumped. Straight down. John fired. Boom. The shot echoed through the forest, and the thing flew back, landing hard on the ground. Sparks flew from its chest. It wasn't dead. It wasn't even bleeding. It stood again tall, silver black, with no face, just a smooth head and glowing red slit where its eyes should be. John's voice cracked. What is that? Z's voice was calm, but her hands were glowing now. Hunter drone. One of many. It sprinted toward them, fast like lightning. Z raised her hand. A flash of light burst from her palm, hitting the drone mid-run. It stopped moving. Fell. Dead. Smoke curled from its body. Z fell to her knees. That was one, she gasped. But they send more. John pulled her back into the cabin and locked the door. His mind raced. What do they want? He asked again. Z finally answered. Not just me. Not just core. She looked up. They scanned for weakness. They want your planet too. I just gave them the way in. John's voice was cold. You led them here. She shook her head, desperate. I ran. I didn't mean. He stopped her with a look. He wasn't angry. He was thinking fast. Okay, he said. They're machines. You can hurt them. That means they can die. Z nodded weakly. I know these woods, John said. I can set traps. Real ones. Z looked up. There are many. I've fought worse. John lied, but he believed it for a second. Maybe he had. Another sound came, this time from the roof. Heavy. Metallic. Double quotes go. John pushed Z into the cellar under the floor. Stay down, don't glow. The trapdoor closed just as the cabin wall shattered. The second drone crashed through like a hammer, glowing red and scanning fast. John fired again. Boom, it dodged, moved too fast. John ducked and rolled behind the table. The drone tilted its head, learning, adjusting. John threw the lantern. It shattered, fire spilling across the floor. The drone stepped back just enough. Senzi's voice from the cellar. Now. John didn't know what she meant, but he didn't need to. A white light shot up from the floor like a beam from inside the earth. The drone screamed not with a mouth, but through a high-pitched screech in the air. It froze, shook, then exploded. In a burst of light and static. Silence again. Smoke, fire and silence. John coughed, then opened the cellar door. Z looked up at him, her face pale. They know where I am now, she said. They already did, John answered. But now I know something too. What? He looked out at the burning drone body. They're not gods, they bleed. She gave a weak smile. You fight well for Earthman. He smiled back. You burn well for alien girl. Outside, in the sky far above, 3 more shapes descended through the clouds, quiet as ghosts. The hunt had just begun. The forest was quiet again, but not safe. John poured water over the fire in the cabin. Smoke rose like ghosts through the broken roof. The air smelled like burning metal and fear. Z sat on the floor, her legs crossed, eyes closed. Her skin no longer glowed. John watched her arms crossed, blood on his shirt, not his own, but from a small cut he got while fighting the drone. Are you meditating? He asked. No, Z said softly. I'm holding it in. Holding what in? She opened her eyes. They weren't glowing anymore. Now they looked tired. Human. Almost power. She said, too much. I can't let it out all the time. John sat across from her. You saved us twice, whatever that was. It's not normal. It's not, she agreed. It's not allowed either. He leaned forward. You said the hunters want the ship's power core, but they also want you. Why? Z didn't answer. She just looked down at her arm. A small cut was healing itself quickly like a time-lapse video. The skin glowed, then closed, leaving no scar. John stared. That's not just healing, that's something else. She took a deep breath. My blood is not only blood, it carries memory, code, a living computer. John blinked. You're saying you're part machine? No, not machine. Something older, grown, not built. He tried to understand. Like a weapon. Z looked away. No, I was made to heal, but something went wrong. Outside, a sound passed through the trees like a low hum. Not a machine, not an animal. John didn't move. There close again. Z nodded. They scanned for my signal. They want the code inside me. It unlocks the ship core. Without it, they can't use it. With it, they control everything. And if they get it? He asked. They spread, she said. They use Earth like fuel. Your forests, your air, your water, your people. John looked at the rifle in the corner. Useless against what was coming. Why were you carrying it in your blood? Z closed her eyes again. I was the last to survive. They placed the code inside me to protect it. I didn't ask for it. But you ran with it. I ran because I had to. If I stayed, it would already be over. John stood up and paced. The cabin felt too small now, too thin. You're telling me the key to saving Earth is inside your veins, yes? And they know that, yes? Then why not destroy you? She paused. Because they can't copy it. They can only extract it while I'm alive. John stopped walking. His mind froze on those words. Wait, he said. You mean they need you alive to take it? Yes, but not whole. Z looked down. John understood. They're going to rip it out of you. She didn't answer. A moment passed. The silence said enough. He grabbed his coat. We can't stay here. Z looked up. Where will we go? I know an old bunker. Cold War relic. Steel walls. Underground. No signals in or out. You'll be safe for now. She nodded, slowly rising. Then suddenly she winced and clutched her side. John ran to her. What is it? My blood. It's changing. She pulled back her sleeve. Under her skin, faint circuits glowed, moving, shifting, like they were alive. It's starting. She whispered the code. It's code. It's waking up. What does that mean? It means I don't have much time. John helped her up. Let's move. We'll figure the rest out later. As they stepped outside, cold wind hit their faces. But the sky wasn't normal. A strange shape floated above the trees, silent, black and pulsing. John aimed his rifle at it. Useless. But it made him feel better. Z looked up, fear in her voice for the first time. That's not a hunter. Then what is it? He asked. That is the collector. What's the collector? She looked at him. It doesn't chase, it waits, it watches. When the signal peaks, it comes to take. John didn't understand everything, but he understood this. They were out of time, and Z wasn't just hiding a secret anymore. She was the secret, and that secret was waking up. They reached the old bunker just before sunrise, hidden behind rocks and trees. The entrance was almost invisible, just a steel door buried in the side of a hill, rusted, forgotten, left from a time when humans feared bombs, not aliens. John pushed open the door with a grunt. It creaked like an old ghost waking up. Inside, the air was cold and dry. Dust danced in the flashlight beam. The walls were thick concrete. Metal shelves, broken wires, and empty food cans filled the corners. Not much, John said, but nobody will find us here. Z stepped inside slowly. Her glowing skin lit the room better than the flashlight. It's quiet, she said. Too quiet. That's the point, John replied, shutting the door. He dropped his bag and sat down, tired and dirty. Z sat across from him, her eyes watching everything. For a few minutes they said nothing. Then John spoke. You knew this would happen. Z blinked. What? You knew they'd follow you. You knew what was inside you. And you didn't tell me. Z looked down at her hands. Her fingers were shaking. I didn't lie, she whispered. No, John said. Standing, you just didn't say the whole truth. Z's voice rose. If I told you, would you still help me? John didn't answer. Z stood now too. You think I want this? I didn't choose to carry the code. They gave it to me because they had no one else. Everyone else was already dead. Her voice cracked for the first time. She sounded young, scared. John looked away. You brought danger to my world, he said. My home. Z stepped closer. And now you want to run from it. He met her eyes. No, I want to understand if I'm helping a victim or a weapon. Z stepped back like he had slapped her. I'm not a weapon, she said. I was made to heal, but now, yes, I can destroy it because I have to. She turned away angry. Now you think I'm dangerous. Good, so do they. That's why they fear me. John picked up his rifle and sat again. Fear can turn you into the thing they say you are. Z didn't speak for a long time. The silence felt like a wall between them. Then, slowly, she walked to the far wall and sat on the ground. Her glow dimmed until her skin looked almost normal. She said quietly, where I come from, people like you don't exist anymore. What do you mean? People who help strangers, who take risks, who fight without asking for reward. John didn't say anything. Z's voice dropped to a whisper. On my world, trust died a long time ago. John leaned his head back against the wall. He closed his eyes. I didn't help you because I trust you, he said. I helped you because someone once helped me. Z looked over to my daughter, he said softly. She trusted someone she shouldn't have. It cost her life. I left the world after that, came here alone. Z looked down. I'm sorry. She believed every life was worth saving, John said, even ones from the stars. Z nodded slowly. I will not betray your trust again, she said. John opened one eye. Good, because we'll need each other to survive. Just then, a light flickered from the corner. A small monitor, left behind from years ago, blinked to life. John stood quickly. That's not supposed to work. Z walked to it. It's reacting to me. My signal on the screen. 3 red dots. Moving dots. Getting closer. Z's voice became sharp. They found the area, but not us. Not yet. John grabbed his bag. We can't stay long. But Z didn't move. Her hand was on the screen. Her voice was low, distant. There, calling me, John said. Z's body began to glow again, but this time it wasn't steady. It pulsed fast. I can feel their minds, she said. They're reaching in. John stepped forward. Z, you have to block it. She closed her eyes. They want the code. They're trying to pull it from me. Even now. John grabbed her shoulders. Fight it. Don't let them in. Z's eyes opened. They glowed white. I'm trying, she whispered, but it's getting harder. The code it wants out. John held her tighter. Then we hold it together. She looked at him, her face full of fear. Why would you still help me? Because, John said, I don't trust what you are, but I trust what you're trying to be. A moment passed. Then the glowing stopped. Z fell into his arms, and outside the 3 red dots paused and changed direction. For now. They had lost her, but they would be back. They always came back. For hours. The bunker was silent. Z slept in the corner, curled like a child, her glow finally gone. She looked peaceful, human almost, but John knew better now. He sat alone, flashlight flickering, watching a small, strange object in his hand. It was a piece of the drone. They destroyed a shard of dark metal, smooth like glass, but pulsing with red lines that moved under the surface. It was still alive. John turned it over and noticed something etched deep into the metal lines, symbols and what looked like a map of Earth. His blood ran cold. He placed it on the table and pointed his flashlight closer. Red marks glowed across the globe, cities, oceans, deserts, even the poles, all connected by thin web-like lines. He didn't understand all of it, but one thing was clear. This wasn't just a hunt. This was a plan behind him. Z's voice broke the silence. You found it. John turned. You were awake. She nodded. I felt it. It was part of the drone's mind. You said they wanted you, John said. But this is something else. Z walked to the table. Her face went pale when she saw the map. I was afraid of this. What is it? John asked. They've already started, she said quietly. They're building. Building what? Harvest zones. John frowned. Like farms. Z looked at him. Like fuel tanks. She tapped one red dot on the map. This one's near the Amazon rainforest. Another in your ocean. They don't come to conquer with guns. They come to drain. John leaned closer. Drain what life, she said. Your energy, your nature, your atmosphere, your people. John stared at the map. So many red marks, so many targets. They've been preparing this, he said. Z nodded. For years. John stepped back. You said you crashed here by accident. I did, but they didn't. John looked at her, his voice sharp. You knew this might happen. I guessed, she said. I didn't want to believe it. He turned away, angry again. So this wasn't about you. This was never about just you. She stepped forward. No, but I can still stop it. He looked back, doubtful. How the code inside me, it's not only power, it's a kill switch. If I reach the right point, I can send a signal. Overload their systems. Crash their machines. Shut down the network. Why haven't you done it yet? She looked down. Because it would also kill me. John stared at her. I'm the lock, she said. But I'm also the key. For a long time neither of them spoke. Outside, the wind howled through the trees. Somewhere far away, thunder rumbled. John finally broke the silence. There has to be another way. Z shook her head. There isn't. They won't stop unless someone stops them, and I'm the only one who can. John sat down hard. You expect me to just let you go? Let you die to save us? Z gave a weak smile. I'm not from your world, but I care about it more than they ever will. John stood, fists clenched. No, we find another way. We fight. We trap them. We blow them apart if we have to. Z walked to him slowly. You don't understand. These things, they don't care about fighting. They don't fear pain. They don't fear death, but they do fear me. John's face was hard. You're not going alone. Z looked him in the eyes. If you come with me, you die too. Then we die trying. Just then the metal shard on the table blinked faster. Z froze. They found us. John grabbed his rifle. How? Z didn't answer. She walked to the door, placed her hand on it, tanned. It lit up with white light. A moment passed. Then she whispered, they're not outside. John looked at her. Z turned around slowly. They're beneath us. Before John could move, the ground shook off the floor, split in the corner like something was rising from underneath. Z backed up. They built tunnels. They were always inside your planet. Watching, waiting. John aimed his rifle at the hole. Then let's show them we're not just waiting. A loud screech echoed up from the ground, mechanical and angry. John looked at Z. What's the plan? She held up her hand. Her glow returned, brighter than ever. We stopped them, she said, from the inside. The tunnel opened like a mouth, dark, wide, and full of danger. John stared down into it, rifle in hand, heart pounding. The air rising from the hole smelled like burned wires and something worse, something ancient. Z stood beside him, glowing, like a star in human form. Her light pulsed with each breath. Her eyes were calm, but her body trembled. This is it, she whispered. The network core is deep below. That's where I end it. John looked at her. No more talk of endings. We go down, we break the system, and we walk back out. Together. Z gave a small smile, but didn't answer. Together, they climbed into the earth. The tunnel walls were smooth, unnatural, like melted stone. The deeper they went, the warmer it got. Lights blinked faintly in the walls, red lines crawling like veins. Their roots, Z said, spreading under your planet like sickness. John clenched his jaw. Let's cut them off. After 20 minutes of walking, they reached a chamber, round, huge, glowing red and black. In the center, a tower of energy, humming like a heartbeat. Machines floated silently around it, some like spiders, some like snakes, all alive but lifeless at the same time. Z stepped forward. That's the core link. I can reach it from here. John held out his arm. Wait, what happens when you connect? Z turned to him. Everything goes dark. Their signals, their drones, their ships. The code inside me spreads like fire. And you, she smiled, but there was pain behind it. Fire doesn't leave the match behind. John looked at her, eyes full of emotion. There has to be another way. There isn't, she said. Suddenly dash movement. The largest machine dropped from the ceiling. 8 legs, a long head with no face. Its chest opened inside, red light and spinning code. The collector. John raised his rifle, but Z stopped him. Bullets. That won't work. I have to do it now. The collector spoke not with a voice, but in the air, inside John's mind. You are not built to win. You are not built to lead. This world will burn quietly. Z stepped forward, glowing brighter now, her skin cracking with light. I wasn't built, she answered. I was born. She ran toward the core. The collector struck with its limbs, but John fired again and again, distracting it, forcing it to turn. Z reached the tower. Her hands touched the light, and then the world paused. Then the entire room exploded in white. The machines screamed. The walls cracked. The red lights turned blue then black. Above ground, across Earth, drones dropped from the sky. Ships stopped in the clouds. The red dots on the map blinked out. One by one, the invasion died. When John woke up, he was on the floor. Smoke filled the chamber. Machines lay in pieces around him. But she was on her knees beside the tower. Her glow gone, her body flickered like a broken star. He crawled to her, coughing. They opened her eyes. You lived. You saved the world, he said. That's supposed to be my job, she gave a weak smile. You can have the credit. He held her as her light faded. I'm sorry, she whispered. For what? For not staying longer. John blinked away the tears. You stayed long enough. Her hand touched his chest. Humanity worth saving, she said. Don't forget. And then she was still, just a shape in his arms, but not forgotten. 6 months later, John stood in the forest again. Alone but not lost. The sky was clear. No drones, no shadows, just wind and trees and life. He had rebuilt the cabin. The traps were gone. In the center of the yard he placed a stone, simple, strong, one word carved into it. Ze. Some nights, when the wind passed through the trees just right, the air felt warm, like someone was still watching, still protecting, and somewhere far, far above, a single, bright star pulsed once and vanished.